Chris, before I ask you the question, if you can't be honest with an answer, please don't answer. Just tell me that maybe I'm not going to answer. Can you trust Boris Johnson about NHS?
Well, I can answer the question. The answer is yes. He's obviously announced substantially increased funding for the NHS in the spending review a couple of months ago, which was the formal government announcing of policy.
On a trade deal with...
Oh, on that.
Sorry,
right.
Chris.
So just on the spending first, then I'll talk about the trade deal.
Don't worry about
he wants to know about the trade deal.
Okay. So on the trade deal, I've actually got the documents in front of me, this dossier which Jeremy Corbyn flourished earlier today. And all of Jeremy Corbyn's claims about the NHS being, having been sold down the river to the Americans as part of a trade deal is complete nonsense. I've got the relevant passages in front of me,
Chris,
and it's just not in there.
Trump himself said that NHS and everything will be included in the trade talk. Did he not say that?
No, the NHS is not on the table.
I'm sorry, Chris. That's a lie. Because Donald Trump, he said in a press conference, NHS will be included in the trade talk. Are you denying that?
Yeah, the NHS,
are you denying that?
The NHS, yes, I do. The NHS is not on the table.
Donald Trump say it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Donald Trump can say what he's like. I can't speak for Donald Trump, but I can only speak for the UK government.
Are you denying that he said it or not? Are you denying that he said it or not?
I can tell you categorically.
When Theresa May was standing next to him, he said that. Are you denying that?
What, Donald Trump you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Donald Trump can say what he likes. I mean, that's not the position of the UK government. Our position is that the NHS is not on the table. We want to see lower drug prices. We want to see the NHS remain in public ownership, universal, free at the point of delivery. Boris Johnson and the entire Conservative Party have been completely clear the NHS is not up for grabs. We cherish it. We're protecting it. We're giving it more funding. And I've got these. Let me finish, Medi. I've got these documents in front of me. There is nothing in them at all which commits the UK government to jeopardising the NHS.
You guys are trying to fool people on that. But can I just ask you something completely different?
Sure.
From NHS?
Sure.
Austerity for the last 9 years. Have you been impacted by this austerity at all?
Well, I talk to people all the time.
Forget about talking to people. I'm asking you as an individual. Have you been impacted by austerity at all?
Yeah, so, I use public services like other people. Let me give you an example, a very personal example. 6 years ago, in 2013, my twin children were born very prematurely at 25 weeks and 1 day, which you all know is unbelievably premature. They were looked after by the NHS at UCLH here in the centre of London, one of the 4 level 1 neonatal intensive care units in London, and they received unbelievably good care. And that is because funding the NHS properly is important, and without that care, there is no question that they wouldn't have survived.
Medi's question was: have you personally been affected by austerity?
Well, I used public services the whole time. So, if by austerity you mean the funding for public services, which I guess you do, then I use public services like other people do all the time, like the NHS.
But have you been affected by austerity? Is his question.
Well, I think all of us would like to see more money on public services, like more money for police, etc. So I like all of your listeners, experience public services and would all like to see as much money as possible.
But that's not an answer to his question, though, is it? He's just wondering whether you personally, because obviously a lot of people have been personally affected by austerity. And is that what you want to get at, Medi?
Eddie, have you been in a situation where you have been told you have to pay bedroom tax that you guys introduced? Have you been impacted by that at all, Chris, or any of your colleagues on Conservative government or any of the MPs?
Well, I guess you can only talk for yourself. Have you personally been affected by austerity?
So, for example, there was the removal of child benefit, which was paid to everybody before. It's now only paid to people earning less than, I think it's something like, is it £50,000 or £60,000? So as an MP, I obviously earn a little bit more than that. So I don't get that child benefit, which I would have done previously. For example, clearly, in terms of tax, there have been changes to tax like VAT, which affect everybody. So I don't get. So I've got 2 children, as I say. I don't get child benefit now in the way that I would have done 10 years ago. So,
but that's the only way that you can think of that you've been affected by austerity.
Well, as I say, we all use public services, including me.
So have you noticed that public services have been worse?
No, I wouldn't say so.
So you haven't really been affected by it then?
Well, because the Conservative government, has managed to responsibly save money where it's needed to balance the books, which was necessary, while maintaining the standard of public services. And I think that's something that the government can be proud of.
All right.